Attention copywriters and marketers, I'm open to interview you and position you as a copywriter if you'll follow these 3 simple steps. Hey, I'm Justin Hitt with Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips, and in this special podcast episode, I'm letting you know that if you visit the website www.adbriefings.co.uk and go to the contact page and let me know you're interested in being interviewed. I'll send you a brief survey to better understand who you are, what your customer is, and what your desires are as far as why you'd like to be interviewed. Now, of course, everybody wants to be interviewed so that they can position themselves as an expert in the marketplace, so they can share their perspective, so they can ultimately get clients. And what I'll send to you is kind of a survey that helps us have a productive call where we position you as an expert copywriter. So here's how it usually works. If you're selected, we'll get on a call. It'll be pre-recorded, so it's not a live call. We'll have a brief conversation, and what we'll talk about is copywriting tips for newbies, copywriting tips for a specific business or industry, copywriting experiences, ideas, and concepts. Maybe we'll go through a case study, but it's primarily meant for me to be an interviewer and you to be the interviewee who is the expert copywriter. Now, if that interview goes well and it's suitable for the newsletter or the podcast, we will use it on the podcast. My team will edit it. We'll include a backlink to your website in the description, and we will position you as an expert. Now, the reason why we're doing this, as many of you may have seen the recent email that went out, is we have a lot of new copywriters, and I want them to see a diverse range of perspectives of actual copywriters. It gives you an opportunity to practice your interview skills. And if it's not working out as we're doing this, it's a private recorded conversation. I will tell you what's not working out and what I'm looking for. I'll coach you to have a conversation so that we create the maximum value for newsletter subscribers. Now, again, my newsletter has some new subscribers on it who are new to copywriting. It has experienced copywriters. It has individuals who are transitioning from freelance copywriting to becoming a small agency. So if you're anywhere along these spectrums, we'll talk about your experiences. I'll do my best to position you as an expert. I'll ask you questions and we'll have a conversation that will be of value to the subscribers that you can later use to promote yourself. You can later use it as evidence of your value because, as I've written in my Establish Instant Credibility program, by you being interviewed by a long-running publication, you'll be positioned as an expert. You'll have a byline. You'll have some feedback in the marketplace. Now, this is not meant for you to pitch the newsletter subscribers. I will edit that out, and I'll make you just look normal, or I won't publish it at all. It's not meant to be a 2-hour brainstorming session unless we hit it off and our personalities match. You know, we might talk for a little longer than the 15 or 20 minutes that are necessary to record a typical podcast. Again, my team isn't going to do a whole bunch of editing, so if you're not very clean with this and you can't have a casual conversation that will be of value to fellow copywriters who are both starting in the business or have been in the business for a little time, so if you're not bringing your best tips, your best tricks, and it could be about a lot of different things: lead generation, sales letters, audience segmentation. Pick one thing, and we'll talk about 3 to 5 aspects of that one thing based on our email conversation so that I can have an interview sheet that's specific to you. You can use this to prepare for news interviews or television show interviews. So maybe we can talk about small business marketing. You can use this to position yourself as a copywriter of copywriters, especially if you're already doing subcontract work or working in a collaborative. And we can do this as a peer experience because very often, as I've mentioned before, I hire copywriters out of the mailing list that I have for ad briefings, and then I also refer copywriters out of the list. Now, I haven't posted as many jobs on here anymore because we do that with just the paid members, and it doesn't happen a lot, so don't join the membership or the paid newsletter just because you think you're going to get like an assignment in your email box every day. You might get one assignment that pays for the lifetime of memberships, but it's not going to be like, it doesn't come in all the time. The key is that I'm open for interviews. I'm available to do this from time to time. If you contact me at www.adbriefings.co.uk, just go to the contact page, say you're interested in being interviewed, tell me a little bit about yourself, tell me a little bit about your company, and I'll do a little background check on you. I will send a little information over to you, and we're going to feature you as part of this longer series. Now, again, I'm going to promote the podcast just like I would any other podcast. You're going to either be a guest podcaster, and we can do it in such a way that I'm not even mentioned in it. I would like to get more British and Australian accents on the channel, because I'm sure all the UK folks are tired of hearing my American accent. And ultimately, I think it'll be very valuable and mutual. Now, why would you do that with me, versus anybody else? Well, first off, this is kind of an open call to guest podcasters or people that are going to be interviewed. Number two is this is a long-running podcast since at least 2008. So I've gotten quite a few podcast episodes that haven't been published yet. They were published on the previous platforms where we had podcasts, but ultimately they're not up there. But I think I really need to have some fresh content and different perspectives, of diverse perspectives, in order to deliver maximum value to my subscriber list. Now, this is the same amount of work for me. It's quite a bit more work for me and my staff than it would if I just come on here and share tips and insights and things that we do normally. But again, like I said, I think it'll add a little bit more flavor. It'll add a little bit more experience, and you're going to see the universal nature of communications and copywriting. Because some people, just because I don't have a British accent, they don't think what I share works in Britain or UK. And just because I don't have an Australian accent, some people think it doesn't work in Australia. But again, I'm calling people from Australia, UK, Canada, the United States, any English-speaking country. I would like to interview you using either questions you provide or the questions that I provide, and we ultimately will dialogue on email about that. And then if the series is popular enough, I'll expand the series over time. But again, I'm going to promote it on social media. Make sure you have a headshot. Make sure you have a website. I'll promote it on other channels. But I am asking that the individuals have at least 3 to 5 years of experience in copywriting. Now, if you're brand new in copywriting, we can do what's called a hot seat, and we can talk about your copywriting experience and where you want to go with copywriting. But again, you don't want a video, you don't want an audio out there. We could do video, by the way, but you don't want an audio out there that is identifying you as a newbie. This is really about positioning newsletter subscribers, podcast listeners, and other copywriters in the industry as experts. So podcasts get thousands of listenings over time. The channel has, it's syndicated in like 27 different platforms, 100 different platforms. It's ridiculous. You just search on the title of one of the podcasts, and you'll see for the popular episodes that they're on all kinds of platforms. So I've already built this thing. It's just a matter of adding some flavor. So again, I would like to have some English accents, some Australian accents, because we have a high demographic in those areas, and you might be getting tired of hearing me talk. But I'd also like to have people who are willing to just chat on best practices. What do you see as an expert in your field as trends, tips, and we're focusing on evergreen content that would help the specific clients that you work with, the specific audiences that you're seeking to reach. Now, in most cases, these podcasts are suitable, because I've done this before, it worked out really well, but they're suitable for you to use as a quick introduction to prospective customers, and to also say, as featured on type of thing. And the model that we use here, you can practice with me, it's fine, but the model we use here, I've taught in the past for you to get guest opportunities on different association podcasts, different podcasts on different that reach your customers. So it is a way of practicing a tool. So this is a special announcement. As long as this is up on the podcast channel, I'll be open at www.adbriefings.co.uk. Go to the contact page and just let me know you're interested in doing an interview. They are 15 minutes That's the segment size we go for. And I'll spend a little bit more time on the call with you if you like. I'll provide a little bit of coaching because I do want you to be successful with this. But ultimately, it's kind of a guest seat in the podcast. I'm looking for someone or a handful of people who can share diverse experiences and diverse perspectives of the copywriting lifestyle. So if you've had a freelance copywriting agency or freelance copywriting activity and you've transformed it to an agency, you've applied strategies here, you've found something successful in the past that you want to share and talk about, you want to go over a client case study, you want to have an interactive interview, or you want to be positioned as the expert, I'm more than happy to do this because it is a mutual value and maximizes the value of newsletter subscribers. So I'm Justin Hitt with Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips, and this has been a special announcement for copywriters and marketers who want some free publicity. Thanks for listening. I hope to hear from you soon. I'll see you in the next podcast.